When people talk about cheap countries in Asia, they scream about Thailand. They hype Vietnam. They romanticize Bali. But almost nobody talks about Laos. And maybe that's exactly why it's still cheap. Laos doesn't try to impress you. It doesn't market itself aggressively. It doesn't build skyscrapers to attract Instagram influencers. It just exists, quiet, slow, almost forgotten. But is it really the cheapest country in Asia? Or is that just what broke travelers tell themselves? Let's break it down. The shocking rent prices. In the capital city of Vientiane, you can rent an apartment $4.250, $400 per month. Yes. A real apartment. Not a shared dorm. Not a capsule pod. But here's what nobody shows you in YouTube thumbnails. The building might be old. The walls might be thin. The air conditioning might struggle in 38 degrees Celsius heat. And the Wi-Fi might randomly die during your Zoom call. Cheap? Yes. Luxury? Absolutely not. In cities like Luang Prabang, a UNESCO-protected tourist gem, you can find rooms $4.200, $300. Sounds insane. But remember this. Laos is not developed like Bangkok. It's not built for mass expat life. You are not paying less because it's a secret paradise. You are paying less because infrastructure is limited. Food for $2. But there's a catch. Street food in Laos can cost $1, $3. Grilled meat. Sticky rice. Noodle soup. You can eat 3 meals a day for under $8. That sounds like freedom. But here's the catch most influencers won't say. If you want Western food, cheese, steak, protein powder, imported snacks, prepare to pay double or triple. Laos is landlocked. Almost everything imported passes through Thailand or Vietnam. So your cheap lifestyle only works if you adapt. If you refuse to change your diet, your budget explodes. Total monthly cost, real numbers. Minimal lifestyle. Rent, $300. Food, $200. Utilities, $60. Transport, $70. Extras, $100. Total, around $730 per month. Comfortable lifestyle. Rent, $500. Food, $350. Utilities, $100. Transport, $120. Entertainment, $200. Total, around $1,200. For Americans. Cheap. For Europeans. Cheap. For locals. Impossible. Here's the part nobody likes to talk about. The average monthly salary in Laos can be under $250 in many sectors. Let that sink in. What you spend on rent alone might equal someone's entire income. When foreigners say, "Wow, it's so cheap here," they're speaking from currency privilege. Cheap is relative. Why is Laos still cheap? Because it hasn't exploded like Thailand. Because it doesn't have massive tourism infrastructure. Because it's still controlled by a single-party communist government. Because development moves slowly. Laos is not chasing global hype. And that keeps prices down. But for how long? Nightlife, not what you expect. If you think Laos is Thailand 2.0, you will be disappointed. Bars exist. Clubs exist. But this is not a 24/7 neon party machine. Beer. $1, $2. Cocktails. $4, $7. But venues close earlier than you expect. Government regulations limit chaos. Laos isn't built for wild hedonism. It's built for slow evenings and quiet streets. The digital nomad trap. Some creators online say, "Move to Laos. Live like a king for $700. Here's the problem. You might get comfortable. Too comfortable. Slow pace. Low pressure. Cheap living. But career growth? Limited. Networking? Limited. Big opportunities? Rare. Laos is not Singapore. It's not even Bangkok. It's peaceful. And peace can either help you focus or slowly make you lazy. Healthcare, the hidden cost. Daily life is cheap. Medical emergencies are not. Serious procedures often require travel to Thailand. Private clinics exist, but advanced care is limited. So your $700 monthly lifestyle can turn expensive fast if something goes wrong. Insurance is not optional here. So, is it the cheapest country in Asia? It's definitely one of them. But cheap doesn't mean easy. Cheap doesn't mean advanced. Cheap doesn't mean opportunity. It means simple. Laos is raw. It hasn't been polished for Western comfort. And that's why it costs less. Final truth. If you earn Western money, Laos feels insanely affordable. If you earn local wages, survival requires discipline. Laos is cheap. But it's not a fantasy land. It's a developing country with limited infrastructure, low salaries, and slow growth. And maybe that's exactly why it's still authentic. Instagram shows sunsets over the Mekong. Travel vloggers show cheap food and smiling locals. But real life in Laos is not a 15-second aesthetic reel. It's slower, harder, and far less glamorous than most people imagine. If you stay longer than 2 weeks, you start seeing the layers. And the first layer is poverty. The salary gap no one talks about. Average monthly income in many parts of Laos. $150, $300. Let that sink in. That's not weekly. That's monthly. In rural provinces, it can be even lower. Now compare that to what a foreigner spends casually. $300 for rent. $200 for food. $100 for entertainment. For many locals, that's their entire income. When foreigners say, life here is so cheap, they're describing it from outside the system. Inside the system, survival requires precision. Rural life, a different reality. Outside cities like Vientiane or Luang Prabang, life changes dramatically. Villages rely on small-scale farming, fishing, local markets, family labor. Many families grow their own rice. Some homes still lack advanced plumbing. Road infrastructure in remote areas can be rough, especially during rainy season. Electricity exists in most regions, but stability varies. This is not extreme poverty in the dramatic sense you see in documentaries. It's quiet limitation. Limited opportunity. Limited access. Limited upward mobility. Education, the hidden struggle. Education access has improved, but gaps remain. Urban children have better access to schools and resources. Rural children often travel long distances. Higher education opportunities are limited compared to neighboring countries. Many ambitious young people look outside Laos, to Thailand, Vietnam, China, for better prospects. Brain drain is real. Healthcare, basic and uneven. Basic clinics exist in most towns. Serious medical treatment. Often people travel to Thailand. Advanced equipment and specialized doctors are limited. For locals earning $200 per month, even moderate medical expenses can become catastrophic. For foreigners, the solution is simple: international insurance. For locals, there is no safety net of that scale. The urban illusion. If you stay in central Vientiane, you might think, this doesn't look poor. There are cafes, cars, smartphones, shopping centers. But walk a few streets away from main roads. You'll see unfinished buildings. Basic housing structures. Small family businesses operating with minimal capital. Laos is developing, but slowly. Very slowly. Why is development slow? Several reasons. Landlocked geography. Small population, -7 million. Limited industrial base. Political structure with centralized control. Heavy dependence on neighboring economies. China has invested heavily in infrastructure, including rail connections, but large-scale economic transformation takes time. Laos is not aggressively capitalist like Thailand. It moves cautiously. The currency reality. Inflation in recent years has hit hard. Imported goods became more expensive. Fuel prices fluctuated. For locals with fixed salaries, rising costs create real pressure. Foreigners earning dollars often don't feel it as sharply. But local households do. The culture of modesty. Despite economic limitations, you rarely see chaos. Laotian culture emphasizes politeness, calmness, avoiding confrontation, community support. Families help each other. Multi-generational living is common. You won't see dramatic public anger about hardship. But quiet resilience doesn't mean comfort. Tourism versus reality. Tourists see waterfalls, mountains, river sunsets, cheap beer. Locals experience limited wages, seasonal income instability, dependence on agriculture, slow economic mobility. Tourism brings money, but not evenly distributed. Many rural regions see little direct benefit. Is Laos poor? Globally, Laos is classified as a lower middle-income country. But labels don't tell the whole story. You won't see extreme slums on the scale of some megacities. But you will see structural limitations. Limited job diversity. Low average productivity. Small private sector. It's not dramatic poverty. It's constrained development. The foreigner advantage. If you earn online income in USD or Euro, you enter a different tier instantly. Your purchasing power multiplies. You can live comfortably. But that comfort exists because the local economy operates at a lower level. That's the uncomfortable truth of global inequality. Can a local become wealthy? Yes, but the path is narrow. Opportunities exist in government positions, tourism businesses, trade, foreign partnerships. But scaling a tech startup from Laos? Challenging. Becoming a global entrepreneur without leaving? Rare. Ambitious young people often migrate for growth. Is life miserable? No. That's the important nuance. Happiness levels don't always correlate directly with GDP. Laos ranks surprisingly well in certain well-being indicators. Community ties are strong. Stress levels are lower than in hyper-competitive societies. Life is slower. But slower doesn't mean easier. What foreigners often misunderstand. They confuse low cost of living with high quality of life. Those are not identical. Cheap rent doesn't equal strong healthcare. Cheap food doesn't equal strong economy. Low expenses don't equal opportunity. The honest verdict. Laos is affordable. But affordability exists because wages are low. Infrastructure is basic. Economic growth is gradual. For a foreigner with external income, Laos can feel like a hidden gem. For many locals, it's a country of patience. Real life here isn't extreme. It isn't explosive. It's steady, modest, and limited. When Western men hear and Southeast that contrast Asia, between many tourist think they understand and everyday restraint is what defines modern Laos. They think it's easy. They think it's cheap. They think it works like Thailand. Laos is not Thailand. And if you arrive with the wrong mindset, you'll immediately feel the cultural wall. Because dating in Laos is not built around foreign fantasy. It's built around family, respect, and long-term reputation. First rule, family is not optional. In Laos, relationships are rarely just about two people. They are about families. Laotian society is deeply influenced by Theravada Buddhism and traditional values. That means respect for parents, long-term intention, public reputation, modesty. If you date someone seriously, eventually you are dating the family. And that changes everything. Casual dating exists, but it's quiet. Yes, younger generations in cities like Vientiane are more modern. Dating apps exist. Urban nightlife creates social opportunities. But compared to Western norms, casual dating is still less open. Public displays of affection are more restrained. Social image matters. What people think matters. This is not a culture that celebrates reckless behavior. The money factor. Let's address something directly. Economic disparity shapes dating dynamics. When a foreigner earning USD interacts with someone earning $200 per month, the power balance shifts. That doesn't automatically mean manipulation. But it does mean expectations can be different. In traditional settings, men are expected to be providers. Financial stability signals seriousness. Lavish spending signals status. This is not unique to Laos, but in a lower-income country, the gap is more visible. Bride price and traditional expectations. In some Laotian communities, especially rural ones, traditional marriage customs can include financial contributions to the bride's family. This is cultural, not transactional. It symbolizes responsibility and commitment. Foreigners who don't understand this sometimes misinterpret it. But within the culture, it's tied to respect and tradition. Ignoring that context creates conflict. Urban versus rural dynamics. Urban youth in cities like Luang Prabang may be more internationally exposed. English levels can be higher in tourism zones. But rural areas are significantly more traditional. Dating norms become stricter. Reputation becomes even more important. The same country can feel culturally different depending on location. The foreigner myth. Some travelers arrive believing Laos offers easier dating because it's less globalized. That assumption collapses quickly. Laos is conservative compared to Thailand. The adult entertainment industry is far smaller and less visible. Strict laws exist. Public scandal can damage reputations. If you behave disrespectfully, word spreads fast. Laos is small. Very small. Social networks overlap. You don't disappear into a crowd of millions. Social media effect. Younger Laotians use social media heavily. Image matters. Status matters. But unlike hyper-individualistic cultures, family approval still holds weight. Serious relationships often require parental acceptance. That can surprise foreigners who expect total independence. Gender roles. Traditional gender roles are still present, though changing slowly in urban areas. Men are expected to provide stability. Women are often expected to maintain modesty and family honor. However, education levels among women are rising. Urban professionals exist. Change is happening, but gradually. Intercultural relationships. Foreign-local relationships exist. Some succeed long-term. Some fail quickly due to misunderstanding. Common friction points. Different expectations around money. Family involvement. Long-term commitment timelines. Cultural communication differences. Western directness can feel aggressive. Laotian indirect communication can feel unclear. Without cultural awareness, frustration builds. Language barrier. English proficiency varies. In tourist areas, communication is easier. In rural areas, it can be very limited. Miscommunication isn't just linguistic, it's cultural. Silence can mean politeness, not agreement. Smiling can mean discomfort, not happiness. Understanding context is critical. The respect test. If you approach dating in Laos casually, arrogantly, or as if you're above the system because you earn more, you will fail socially. Respect matters deeply. How you treat service workers. How you speak in public. How you behave when drinking. All of it is observed. Laos may seem relaxed. But socially, it remembers. Is it easy? That depends on what you mean. If by easy you mean short-term, no strings, anonymous interactions. Laos is not built for that at scale. If you mean meeting kind, family-oriented people who value long-term stability, then yes, it's possible. But it requires patience. The cultural speed. Relationships often move slower at the beginning. Trust is built gradually. Rushing physical intimacy can damage perception. Laos is not a culture that celebrates fast escalation. Time and consistency matter more than flashy gestures. The honest verdict. Dating in Laos is not a fantasy playground. It's not a hidden version of Thailand. It's a traditional society slowly modernizing. If you approach it with respect, patience, and cultural awareness, you can build something meaningful. If you approach it with ego, assumptions, or transactional thinking, you will hit a wall. Laos does not loudly advertise its boundaries. But they exist. And they are stronger than many outsiders expect. On the map, they look like neighbors. In reality, they feel like different worlds. People often ask, if Laos is cheap and in Southeast Asia, why not just go to Thailand? That question alone explains everything. Because Thailand built a global machine. Laos did not. Round 1, Infrastructure. Thailand is industrialized. Bangkok has mega malls, international hospitals, Skitrans, airports connecting the world, massive nightlife districts. Laos. In Vientiane, you have basic infrastructure. Functional. Improving. But limited. No massive metro system. Fewer international flights. Smaller hospitals. Slower bureaucracy. Thailand feels plugged into the global economy. Laos feels semi-detached. Winner, Thailand. No debate. Round 2, Cost of living. Laos is generally cheaper. Rent is lower. Food is slightly cheaper if you eat local. But here's the twist. Thailand offers more for slightly more money. In Thailand, you can live for $1,200 and have strong healthcare, high-speed internet, better public transport, more career opportunities. In Laos, $800 gets you comfort, but fewer systems behind it. So yes, Laos can be cheaper. But Thailand often gives better value per dollar. Round 3, Nightlife. Thailand turned nightlife into an export industry. Entire districts operate as entertainment ecosystems. Laos. Controlled. Limited. Earlier closing times. Laos nightlife is social. Thailand nightlife is industrial. If someone moves to Southeast Asia for chaos and neon lights, they choose Thailand. If someone wants quiet evenings and fewer tourists, Laos. Round 4, Economic opportunity. Thailand's GDP dwarfs Laos. Thailand manufactures cars, electronics, exports globally. Laos relies more on agriculture, hydropower, and foreign investment. If you want to build a career locally, Thailand offers more industries, more companies, larger job market. Laos offers limited sectors, smaller economy, fewer scaling opportunities. This is not opinion. It's structural. Round 5, Tourism Scale. Thailand receives tens of millions of tourists annually. Laos receives a fraction of that. Thailand optimized tourism. Laos preserves simplicity. In Thailand, tourism is everywhere. In Laos, tourism feels like a layer, not the core identity. Some travelers love that. Others find it underdeveloped. Round 6, Culture and Social Energy. Thailand feels energetic, entrepreneurial, commercially alive. Laos feels slower, more reserved, more rural in mindset. Thailand pushes forward aggressively. Laos moves carefully. Thailand markets itself loudly. Laos barely markets itself at all. Different psychology. Round 7, Foreigner Experience. In Thailand, you can disappear into a massive expat community. In Laos, you stand out more. The country is smaller. Social circles overlap. Your reputation travels faster. Thailand offers anonymity. Laos offers visibility. Round 8, Development Trajectory. Thailand is already globally integrated. Laos is still developing. China has increased investment in Laos, railways, infrastructure, trade corridors. But large-scale transformation takes decades. Thailand feels stable and established. Laos feels transitional. So why choose Laos at all? Because Thailand can feel overwhelming. Too many tourists. Too commercial. Too optimized. Laos offers quiet, simplicity, lower sensory overload, fewer distractions. For creators, minimalists, slow travelers, that matters. The uncomfortable truth. Most people comparing Laos to Thailand will pick Thailand. More comfort. More opportunity. More safety nets. Laos wins only in lower cost. Lower intensity. Less commercialized environment. Thailand is a global player. Laos is a developing underdog. Final verdict. If you want growth, business, high-level healthcare, massive nightlife, Thailand wins. If you want cheap simplicity, slower rhythm, fewer tourists, Laos might suit you. But pretending they are equal competitors is unrealistic. They're neighbors. But they're not on the same economic level. And that difference defines everything.